Yeah.
Buck roll.
How you so honey, how you so cold. Gave you everything I've ever known.
If I gave you freedom, will you think of Egypt? Will you be okay? Or will you think of leaving? You got my heart grieving. Why you not believing? Blood on your doorpost, don't you see me bleeding? Love is in my voice, don't you hear me pleading? My heart about to bust, you can't feel it beating. You don't trust me, I did miracles, but you rush me to do miracles. You just give me words, you too lyrical. You in your own head, you too spiritual. Supposed to been a short trip, took your whole life. Cause you always trip when it's not in sight. You can't see the land, you got your own route. I can't give you plans, you just go south. Then I bring you back and give you me again. Then you turn your back for another sin. You should know me now, you know you owe me now. I kick the devil out, he's still running around. What do that say? I'm really mercy, I'm really grace to let you hurt me. I can kill you, I can murk you. I wanna heal you, but you curse me. I forgive you, I wanna live with you. I wanna heal you, so I can live with you. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, especially Zoom. Welcome to another Bible study where we lift up Jesus and not ourselves. We are so excited for this series we have been going through called the Book of Life. We're on part 6 today. So if you have not seen the first 5 parts, you are missing out on some good nuggets. I am telling you, it's there. So today we are on seal 4. We're going to be talking about judgment of the living. The other day we was talking about judgment of the dead and how God used an amazing man during that time to spark some interest in the world. And guess what? He wants to use us. He wants to use us to spark something in this world that we're living in. All right. For all my veterans, what we're going to call y'all veterans, all the veterans, what is seal 4? Before we even read it, what is coming up next for all the vets? What's seal 4, y'all?
The judgment of the living.
Come on, Marcus. Look at man. Judgment of the living. You already know. You heard my judgment of the living. And what's that? What's included in the judgment of the living?
The start of the Great Tribulation.
All right, start of the Great Tribulation.
Yep, famine, plague, sword.
All right, sword, famine, plague, and what else?
Wild beasts.
Thank you. I thought the vest was tripping. And then we got sword, famine, plague, wild beasts. We're going to talk about all this tonight. We're going to get into it. We talked about it about a year ago, but tonight we're going to redo it and with more info there. All right. And what else? There's one more thing that's in this seal that's very important we didn't highlight yet.
See who gets sealed.
Huh?
See who gets sealed and who gets the mark.
One out of what?
1/4.
1/4. That's right. God is going to slay 1/4 to get the 3/4 attention. All right, we about to go through it. It's going to be a really good study tonight. If you're late, sorry. You should have been here. Got to go rewatch it. No, we just getting started. But we're going to actually read it first, and then we're going to go back and look at a few things. But before we actually read it, you know I have something to say. Check this out. Check this question out. I really like this question. I asked this question before. Why is it necessary for people to get punished multiple times in life? Why is it necessary? Why can't you just tell somebody something one time, the first time, and they get it and they never do it again? Why is it necessary?
Because going through the experience of either being felt or being disciplined sticks with you longer than somebody else telling you what it is.
Okay. Hard-headed. There you go. Hard-headed. People are hard-headed. I got to find out for myself. Right? So it's just like a child. You can't just tell a child something one time and it's just like, I'd never have to tell you this again in your life. I told you when you was 6 months old, I never have to tell you again. Right? That ain't how this work, right? So when we really think about what the question I just asked is like, God doesn't mind repeating himself. He doesn't mind. But he do have a stopping point. And I want to point that out. Actually, we're going to read a verse first in Revelation 6, and then we're going to read God's stopping point. Let's go to Revelation 6, and we're going to read verses 7 and 8. And this is the fourth seal. We just did the third seal, the fourth seal. Yeah, I know, 6 months old. All right. What's up, TikTok? How y'all doing? All right. When the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a pale horse, a sickly looking horse, a ugly looking horse. It wasn't like the white one. It wasn't like the red one. It wasn't like the black one. This is a disgusting looking horse. Its rider name was Death, and Hades was following close behind him. They were given power over a fourth of the earth to kill by what? Sword, famine, plague, and wild beasts. They were given a 1/4 of the earth to be killed. All right, so I asked this before. Who's sending these plagues? The devil?
No, God.
Ooh. Y'all know how we love to blame the devil for everything that's bad, right? Does it sound like the sword is bad? Like man killing man? That sounds bad, right? That sounds like a devilish act. Doesn't that sound devilish? When we say the devil is busy, if we saw man killing man? Who can hear me? Or how about famine? The devil busy. The devil, you see the credit we give to him? How about a plague? Y'all see how we can say something and we got to be careful when we saying stuff. All right. So God is going to send these things. God is going to send these things. Watch this. I want to open up with something that caught my attention in Ezekiel. Let's start with Ezekiel. Ezekiel 24. Ezekiel 24. So God don't mind repeating himself, but watch this. Watch what he does, though. Whenever it's time, so Ezekiel 24. And we're going to start with 14. Somebody read Ezekiel 24:14. Somebody get that verse for me. Who got it? Who won it?
Got it.
All right, let's do it. Ezekiel 24:14.
I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come for me to act. I will not hold back. I will not have pity, nor will I relent.
All right.
You will be judged.
Stop right there real quick. We're going to read the last one in a little bit. I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come for me to act. Listen to these words. The time has come for me to act. So that means there's a long time where I don't do nothing. Right, parents? Hey, parents. Who can hear me, parents? Who the type of parents that say stuff over and over and over and over and over again? And then all of a sudden, when it's time to act, you like, man, huh? But when I act, you gonna think I'm what? Loco. You gonna think I'm, huh? Ain't that right? So when I was saying stuff for 400 years, when I said stuff for 490 years, right? When I was just talking, nobody took me serious. See, parents, when you just talk, it ain't gonna take you serious. But when you act, it's like, oh, who know how big a child eyes get when you act? Who understand that? Oh, y'all don't act.
They know the wrath is coming.
Y'all don't act the donkey when it's time to act the donkey. All right. So don't let your children run over you. But check this out, though. God said the time has come for me to act. So let's give an example real quick. So for the people in Noah's day, he gave them a time limit. Right? So he told Noah what it is. And at 60 years, he was still talking. At 70 years, he's still talking. At 80 years, he's still talking. You see, at 100 years, he's just talking. But what happens at year 120? What happens? It's time to act.
Let us on the boat.
Huh?
They're over there screaming, let us on the boat.
You let us on the boat. They knocking on the door as the water's shooting out. So watch what I'm about to say real quick in this particular part. How do we know that God is about to act? How do we know? This generation, how do we know? What do we have as a time stamp that God is about to act? What do we have?
The events that follow what happens before the Wars of Seal starts.
All right. So how do we know?
Evidence.
When the golden censer gets cast?
Yeah, how we know we're close to the judgment of the living? How do we know?
You become lovers of themselves. They become lawlessness.
You giving me signs and events. You giving me signs and events. Huh?
The word. And like we know the seals, you can line it up with the seals, the word.
Okay.
Wickedness increases and the love of God decreases.
You giving me signs and events. People always been lovers of themselves, right? Say it again, Season. She's saying it. It's a time. What time do we know it is? How do we know the times? What do we have?
End times.
How do we know?
Because it says in the Bible.
How do we know?
Oh, yes, time study, Sister Jennifer.
How do we know? Okay, time study. What is time study? How do we know what times we living in? How do we know about what year we at? How do we know?
When that Jubilee calendar was over.
All right, hold on. Marcus just said it. Go ahead, Marcus. Teach us for 1 second, brother.
When that Jubilee calendar was over with, what'd you say, 1994?
So we got time from when Adam was born all the way to the end of the Jubilee calendar. And we added up, that's close to almost 6,000 years. Y'all see how simple the answer could be? See, we need to get away from signs and events because that has been preached for a very long time. Wickedness is increasing, all this kind of stuff. But we know by God's clock, his clock, he does everything on time. This is important. So right now, is God silent for the most of the world? Is he silent? What happens? What happens when he take the fourth seal off, though? Wrath. Anybody when you was growing up knew your sibling or something was going to get a whooping before they did? And you, anybody who remember this? Like when you growing up, you know the sibling because mom or dad done said, "Oh, I'm a beat that whatever," right? So you know before. So if you see your sibling coming down the block, run down there. Hey, let mama cool off. Let daddy cool off. Don't come to the house yet. They mad. Who hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the same thing God is begging for us to do? Think about, isn't that the same right there? Watch this. I just try to make it so plain. That shit, watch this. Because we live in a time where you can preach about anything that's dealing with God, right? You know, people highlight a bunch of things about God that he said, I don't care about you highlighting that right now. I want you to focus on. You see that? You see what happens? Because if I, for instance, if I make you feel like you have a good relationship with God, right? But watch this. I know for a fact his wrath about to break out, and I don't even say nothing. I know there finna be a whooping, and I don't say nothing. Am I doing you a service or a disservice?
A disservice.
So if I watch this, if I go down the street and tell my sibling, hey, go to the house, mama ain't that mad. Just go to the house. She'll be all right. Huh?
Setting them up.
Hey, huh? Who here?
Setting them up.
Who hear what I'm saying?
Mama's got ice cream. Mama's got ice cream.
You see how wrong that is? You tell them the truth. Watch this. And if you tell them the truth, watch what I'm about to go and say. You tell them the truth, a soberness comes over brother or sister. They might get quiet all the way home. They don't even want to say nothing. They shaking inside. Huh? Huh? They shaking inside. They don't even want to talk no more. They even say, watch this. They might even ask you, you think she gonna, what you think she gonna do? Huh?
They on that time. Now they think about everything that mama gonna do. Everything that I did wrong. You know what I mean? Like
what? How bad is it? Watch what I'm about to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but they also getting prepared for that whooping too, though.
Yeah, listen to what I'm about to say. The Bible says, work out your salvation with what?
Fear and trembling.
Oh, with joy and laughter and dancing. Oh, I love God. Who he's so good. He said, work it out like that, or fear and trembling. Know that look, we finna get in the Bible even more. I'm setting it up though. I'm trying to push us to understand how important it is that we are stopping them a half mile up the road before they get home. It's important to stop them at the look. Prepare yourself. She got 4 switches and she twisting them together.
and they soaking water.
Hey, look, she got 4 long switches and she twisting them together, waiting on him. Look, when you go in the house, she gonna have the switch right there in her hand, or daddy will, whoever. Yo, if we do that, the soberness is there. So I'm prepared when I walk in the house of what to expect.
Oh, you're watching your step.
You watching your steps. You want to get right. Now you want to get right. Oh man, I hope we can hear it. This is how I'm trying my best for us to get it. Like how important it is to tell people that yes, 4 switches is waiting on you. The leather belt is waiting. The paddle is waiting. Back in the day, you know, I when I was going in the 9th grade, they were still paddling at this particular school I had went to. And I remember I did something bad, and the principal gave me three good whacks with the paddle. They don't do that no more. I don't know why. They need to be paddling still, but whatever. People don't even paddle at home, huh?
I said, yeah, they took it out. They need to be doing it. We was just talking about that.
Right. So look what God tells them in Ezekiel 24:14. So this is what God says. I, the Lord, have spoken. The time has come for me to act. I will not hold back. I will not have pity, nor will I relent. You will be judged according to your conduct and your actions, declares the sovereign Lord. Watch this. Verse 15. The word of the Lord came to me, son of man, with one blow, I am about to take away from you the delight of your eyes. Yet do not lament or weep or shed any tears. Groan quietly. Do not mourn for the dead. Keep your turban fastened and your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your mustache and beard and eat the customary food of mourners. Don't do none of that. So I spoke to the people in the morning, and in the evening, what happened?
My wife died.
My wife died. I couldn't get to the button.
I spoke to the people in the morning, and in the evening, my wife died. Watch this. When somebody that close to you die, how distraught? Huh?
Yeah. I read ahead, so that's crazy. He just did as he commanded.
But watch
Maybe
this.
mentor you.
The next day he got up and did as he commanded. You got to understand that this is a real thing that you can do. Because he told him, God said, don't mourn for the dead. Don't do none of that. Because in verse 24, this is why he told him. He said to the people what he needed to say. But in verse 24, he said, Ezekiel will be a sign to you. You will do just as he has done. When this happens, you will know that I am the Lord. So I'm going to read what it says real quick in verse 20. I'm going to read first. So I said to the people, this is after my wife had died. Then the people asked me, won't you tell us what these things have to do with us? Why are you acting like this? So I said to them, the word of the Lord came to me. Say to the people of Israel, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am about to desecrate my sanctuary, the stronghold in which you take pride. What does God say he about to desecrate? What is the sanctuary? Huh? What is the sanctuary? What did he say he about to desecrate?
The place they feel safe in, most safe in.
What is the sanctuary? Modern day, what is the sanctuary?
Church.
Their church, their religion, whatever. The things they take pride in. Just say if I take pride in the statues, if I take pride in, the law, if I take pride in that, I'm going to desecrate that. But watch what he say next. The delight of your eyes, the object of your affection, the sons and daughter you left will fall behind will fall by the sword. So he told Ezekiel, I'm going to take you through something as a sign to what all these people are about to deal with. But he told Ezekiel, he said, I don't want you mourning because they're going to mourn. There's a scripture that said, I don't want you to grieve like worldly men who have no hope. So when God's judgment comes, he said, a time has come for me to act. I ain't holding back. So now we're going to dig into God's plagues, God's way of doing things. We need to talk about his way of doing things because guess what? That's what he's about to do next. And it's going to shock the world. Let's go to Ezekiel 14. Somebody read verse 21. Ezekiel 14:21.
I got it.
All right.
For this is what the sovereign Lord says. How much worse will it be when I send against Jerusalem my 4 dreadful judgments, sword and famine and wild beasts and plague, to kill its men and their animals.
So what God say? His what?
His judgments, dreadful judgments.
He said, these are my 4 dreadful judgments. And we're going to walk through each one of them real quick through the Bible and see if God has ever done these things. We need to go and see how this looks and why God does these things. All right. So let's start in Deuteronomy 32. Let's start in Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32, and I'm going to start with verse 15. Check this out. In Deuteronomy 32:15, this is what God says. He said, Jeshurun grew fat and kicked. Who is Jeshurun? Who is Jeshurun? Nobody knows? Watch this. Okay, I'm going to read 15 and then I'm going to ask again. It says, Jeshurun grew fat and kicked, filled with food. They became heavy and sleek. They abandoned the God who made them and rejected the rock, their savior. They made him jealous with their foreign gods. Who is Jeshurun?
term of endearment for Israel.
That's right. Who
Israel?
just said that? That is a term of endearment. That's just like my baby, my love. My love grew fat and kicked. Let's look at those two words, fat and kicked. Fat and kicked. What does that mean? Fat and kicked. Filled with food. Watch this. It says, my love has become fat and kicked. So you done became gluttonous, comfortable, and defiant. You kick against anything I do. You fight me on everything. You kick back. Are y'all understanding that part? So Jeshurun grew fat and kicked, filled with food. They became heavy and sleek. Who does this sound like?
Us.
Who is us?
This glorious country we live in.
So, are we filled with food?
Yes, sir.
So, what did the food do to the people when God was their God and he ruled among them? What did it do to them?
It made them lazy.
Gave them that itis and made them lazy.
It made them lazy. It made them have itis, but it made them something else. Who understands brain fog? Who understands that brain fog produces irritability and frustration and all these kind of things? Yeah, I'm just trying to give a little nugget right now. So how clear do you pray when you have brain fog? Y'all hearing what I'm saying?
Not very clear.
Where does brain fog come from?
Thoughts.
Who said thoughts? Wait, don't even say. Where does brain fog come from?
What we put into our bodies.
Yes,
visually
thank
and
you, Kate.
Audibly, and what we eat.
Bad food. Bad food. Who knows when you eat healthy and clean and stuff, you start to have clear thinking.
Okay.
Huh? Brain fog.
get it.
Brain fog comes from doing bad things to your body. You ever talk to someone addicted to anything? I hope y'all hearing what I'm trying to say. This not being sober and all this kind of stuff, and sober is not about drinking or smoking. It could be what you eat. It could be what you put in your body, right? Sugar is more addictive than a lot of things, right? We understand these things, and these things create brain fog. So watch this. If we are unhealthy, how good is our relationship according to God?
There isn't one. It's not good at all.
Who hear me? How good is that relationship now? Uh-oh. I want us to get it. We can be clogged up, and this is how God says, you are filled with food, you heavy and sleek. You abandon me. That means like you always fall asleep and you miss things. You don't have time to spend intimate time with me because you're clogged up. But I'm going to keep going. Verse 16. They made him jealous and with their foreign gods and anger him with their detestable idols. They sacrificed to false gods, which are not God. Watch this. Gods they had not known. Gods that recently appeared. Gods your ancestors did not fear. Do we have gods today that our ancestors may not have known? That recently appeared, probably over the last 25 years?
Yeah.
What's one of the main gods we have today that appeared like 25 years, 30 years?
TV.
Huh?
TV.
TV, phone, internet. Do anybody abandon their time with God for any of these things? Entertainment, technologies, money. The way he said money. Y'all got that part? You see, I'm trying to slow down and make it clear because judgment of the living is coming. And if we don't clean up, if we don't be meeting each other a mile up the road and letting each other know that daddy at the home with 4 switches, and he done tied them up together and he waiting for you. Because if I meet you up the road, I can hopefully tell you something to get you sober. All right? Fear and trembling. What makes us fat, sleek, and all these things? Not being sober. What makes us kick against a God? Not being sober. We got it? He said, these things recently appeared and y'all made them a God. It's like he's saying, dog, I got to compete now with phones. I got to compete with automobiles. I got to compete with TVs. And hey, we forgot one that's major. How about game systems? How about just games in general? How about video games? Like it just takes over. Most people have games on their phone, right? And they'll be somewhere where it's other people playing their Tetris. We call it Tetris or whatever. Playing a few years ago, it was what was the Crush game? Y'all know it. Yeah, that Candy Crush, right? So you understanding what I'm saying? These are like this take a lot of your time, a lot of your focus, a lot of your energy. I hope he do it, Zariah. Because these things is how we abandon God. They are God. They make me happy. What kind of adrenaline do you feel when you are doing something on your phone or watching your favorite show? Or what is the feeling that you get? Is that the same feeling you're supposed to have with God? But we don't. So watch this. This is how you know where you at. Take everything away from yourself for a year. I can't live. I went extreme on y'all. Just take away your stuff for 2 weeks. See what happened. And when the 2 weeks are over, watch this. When the 2 weeks are over, see if you missed it. You know how you know if you missed it? When you go back to it, it take back over. Y'all seeing what's going on? How are we going to escape it? Well, you know, God got a quick answer for all of this. Guess what the great earthquake is going to do? Guess what it's going to do? Yes.
Shut everything to people's attention.
Yeah, but guess what it's going to do, though? All the gods, huh?
Take away those things.
Say it again.
It's gonna take away those things for us.
What was some of the yes? What was some of the main things that God told them to do when they go into the land? What was the type of things he said tear down and rip apart and burn?
All the altars,
the idols. Rip them down, tear them down. Even when he came and got Gideon, he said, hey, go to your daddy's house and tear them poles down he got out there. So watch this. What's going to happen if all your idols get damaged in one day? What happens then?
You start to panic if you're so focused on them or you depended on it.
And God got your attention.
All right, y'all getting it now? But watch this, though. What if Babylon is able to give you some of those things back? Oh, we ain't thought that far yet. What if the only way to get it back is Babylon say, look, we got a little spot over here in our base, over here in the base. Come and charge your phones.
Air conditioner.
We got some air conditioner. Come charge your phones. Come and
Just go on, take this little stamp real quick.
y'all got it.
Come get comfortable.
Come get comfortable. You on your way home sober. You on your way home sober, and your friend tell you to stop you and be like, man, you might as well come and play the game with me, man. You gonna get a whooping anyway. Huh? Who can hear me? What's going on, Zariah? I don't know what that was, but we handle it. It's all good. We can get back focused. So watch this though. If we think on the level that God think on, we'll start to work out our salvation now. We'll start to say, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna fast from this. I'm gonna take this away from me. I'm gonna suffer. Right? How did he learn obedience? From what he suffered. It's okay to suffer, because if you don't do it for yourself, look, how many parents know that you give your child everything, it's a wrap? Forget that. How many parents know if you give your child 60% of what they want, it's over? How many parents know if you give them 40% of what they want, it's over? You see what's going on? Because they gonna God said we learn how to obey from what we suffer. And once you see your child has suffered and obeyed, you can give them the nations. You can put them in charge of stuff, because they learn obedience from what they suffered. We got it. Let's keep reading. We still talking about his 4 deadly judgments, but I'm setting it up. The Lord saw this and rejected him. Verse 19. Verse 18. Your ancestors did not fear. Okay, verse 18. Deuteronomy 32, 18. 18. You deserted the rock who fathered you. You forgot the God who gave you birth. The Lord saw this and rejected him because he was angered by his sons and daughters. He said, what did he say next?
I will hide my face from them.
Huh? So you sit there and scroll for an hour, watch your favorite show for 2 hours, play your video game for 3 hours, and then you say, oh, I'm about to go to bed. Let me say my prayer before I go to bed. What? Who talking to you? Who you talking to? Y'all heard what I just did? What was that? You just spent 7 hours not even thinking about me. I will hide my face from them, and he said, and see what their end will be. So once I move myself out the way, all right, let me say something. People with discernment, people who have a certain type of eyesight can understand what I'm about to say. You ever saw somebody so adamant about doing things that you know is the wrong way? You ever saw somebody who you know they're doing things the wrong way? They get in relationships the wrong way. They pick their jobs the wrong way. They have children the wrong way. And you done said everything. Now you just got to move out the way and see what. Let
them destroy themselves.
What else can I do? I got to move out the way. And let's see what their end's going to be. I remember times I tried to get people to become an entrepreneur. And I said, look, you're not going to make as much money with me as you're becoming one. This is what I'll say. I said, but when you do become one, you'll understand why. How can you tell somebody that who only think about an hourly wage? Who hear what I'm saying? So you got to move out the way and say, and I see you 10 years later. Y'all get what I'm saying? There's so much advice or there's so much wisdom that you try to give. But it's like, I'm frustrated. I can't say nothing else. See, I gotta let you live your life. I have to. It's free. I gotta let you live your life. And you know how it's gonna end up. It's a real statement. He says, the Lord saw this, verse 19, and rejected him because he was angered by his sons and daughters. He said, I'm going to hide my face from them. And he said, and see what their end will be. For they are a perverse generation, children who are unfaithful. They made me jealous by what is no God, and anger me with their worthless idols. I will make them envious by those who are not a people. I will make them angry by a nation that has no understanding. For a fire will be kindled by my wrath, one that burns down to the rim of the dead below. It will devour the earth and its harvest and set afire the foundations of the mountains. Now watch this. We remember his 4 deadly judgments. We're about to talk about it right now. Look what he says. That's the Lord saying this. I will heap calamities on them and spin my arrows against them. I will send wasting what?
Famine.
That's one. Against them, consuming pestilence and deadly what?
Plagues.
Okay. I will send out the fangs. I will send out against them the fangs of what?
The wild beasts.
The venom of vipers that glide in the dust. In the street, the what?
The sword.
Will make them childless. In their homes, terror will reign. The young men and young women will perish. The infants and those with gray hair. I said I would scatter them and erase their name from human memory. But I dreaded the taunt of the enemy, lest the adversary misunderstand or say, our hand has triumphed. The Lord has not done all this. God is, if now that we understand God's ways in the full scope as we've been talking about, this is the only way he can show that he loves the next generation. The only way God was able to show, watch this, the generation that went to the promised land, his love, is by doing what? Taking out who?
Elders, people before them, generations before them.
That's the only way. Look, and watch this. We about to go back and watch this. God has done so many things in the desert to try to get them to change, and he just couldn't. All right, let's talk about sword real quick. We're gonna cover the 4, and then we'll be finished after we cover the 4. Let's talk about sword. I want to go to Jeremiah 25:8 real quick. Jeremiah 25:8. And we're going to read 8 and 9. Who got it?
You said 25:8.
Yeah.
It says, therefore the Lord Almighty says this, because you have not listened to my words, I will summon all the peoples of the north, and my servant Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, declares the Lord, and I will bring them against this land and its inhabitants, and against all the surrounding nations. I will completely destroy them and make them an object of horror and scorn, and an everlasting ruin.
So look what he did. Yeah, right there. Just stop right there. Nebuchadnezzar is about to bring the what? What he about to bring?
The sword.
Say it again.
The sword.
Who's sending this wicked king to do it?
God.
You know how God say my ways are higher than yours and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts and all this kind of stuff? Is there anybody in our Bible study right now? Just say, is there anybody who think like this? Like, I'm gonna use somebody wicked to get my people, get my children in order. Who can hear what I just asked?
I'm not gonna lie, I did that. I had to do that to my daughter with her cousin to teach her how to learn how to play with her sister, or to learn to value what a peaceful household is, because she was doing too much.
Great. However, the lesson need to get learned. See, God said his ways higher than ours, his thoughts, the way he do things. But it's a reason why he do it. He said, I'm going to bring him, my servant, Nebuchadnezzar. I'm going to bring my servant to my people. I'm going to bring my servant to my people and get them in line. Look at this in Isaiah 37. Isaiah 37. In Isaiah 37, verse 30, we're going to start with 36. Somebody read 36.
Then the angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 in the Assyrian camp. When the people got up the next morning, there were all the dead bodies.
The angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 people in the Assyrian camp because of what they was trying to do to Israel. So God brought the sword on 185,000 soldiers. Whom shall you fear? Whom shall you fear? If God will do that for his people, whom shall you fear?
One that can kill the body and the soul.
That's right. And there's many other places that talk about God bringing the sword. You got the death angel in Exodus in Egypt, right? The blood wasn't on the post. It's a wrap. And there's so many other places. We're not going to get in there. I want to cover famine now. I want to give us why God do these things. Why God do these things? Well, it's defiance, it's disobedience, it's arrogance, it's all these things. But watch this in famine. We're going to go to let's talk about this first. Actually, we don't got to read it. What was the purpose of God sending a famine in Egypt during Joseph's time? What was the purpose?
Essentially, first, so he was having, if I'm not mistaken, he was having dreams. No, that's that. Daniel. If I'm not mistaken, he was having dreams, and he was made third in the whole all of Egypt, and then not only that, since his brothers did what they did, they ended up having to come to him for food, for rescue.
Yeah.
Am I off?
Yeah. So what I'm asking is, what was the purpose of God bringing the famine to Egypt during Joseph's time? Go ahead, Kimberly.
Isn't that the catalyst he used to set the captives free, to bring them out of slavery?
Joseph.
Isn't that part of it?
Joseph is the one that had the dream.
He used it to have his brothers humble themselves.
Okay. His brothers humble themselves.
Was it to lift him up in power?
The king as well. He had to show his true power. Or sorry, sis.
No, that's okay.
So, okay, to promote Joseph. Watch what I'm about to reunite his family. Okay. Confirm Pharaoh's dream. Fulfill his purpose. All right. I see it's one we haven't thought about. Okay, watch this. Can
you repeat the question?
Huh? Oh,
Repeat the question?
What was the purpose of God bringing the famine in Egypt during Joseph's time?
To punish the people.
All right, James got it. Go ahead.
To punish the people in the land for their disobedience because they didn't acknowledge God.
Okay. Derek, you had something? What was the thing that God promised Abraham?
That his children would inherit the land.
Okay.
To bring his children back to Egypt, his descendants back to Egypt.
Almost. You almost there. To bring his descendants where, though?
Israel.
He gonna bring them to... Right. He brought the nation of Israel to Egypt through the famine. So he brought the nation of Israel to Egypt through the famine. Right. And then as they grew and populated, what did the Egyptians do?
They got jealous. They got mad.
That right. They got jealous and all these kind of things.
Yeah, the men slaves.
Why? So watch this though. Did God want the people enslaved, or did the God, or watch this, what I'm about to ask. Did God intentionally want to enslave them? Think about what I'm asking. Nope. Right. God's purpose was that they inherit the land that Abraham was in. But God told them, hey, they will be enslaved though being in this land. And watch this. God, there was nothing. See, God doesn't manipulate anything. He'll tell you beforehand, but he can't manipulate the situation. Then it's like he becomes a manufacturer in a sense. It's like he becomes your robot. Y'all understand that now? God doesn't do that. He doesn't manufacture the situation. He'll let you know what's coming. So God's plan for this famine was to bring Israel to Egypt. That's good, James. You on it, bro. So you're saying a mouthful right now. I really want to dig into what you're saying, because suffering is the only thing that produces the right type of heart. So there was only a few people and we're going to get into this in a minute. There was only a few people. So God wanted to promote Joseph because he gave him a dream of that he was going. But the bigger picture was his promise to Abraham. All right. So let's see. I don't want to get stuck on that. I can't get stuck on that. Let's see now. Let's talk about a few more real quick with famine. What was the purpose of the famine with Elijah and the false prophets and Ahab? What was the purpose of that famine?
Wasn't it? Was it? It's still when they was
yeah, the fun time.
When was it before or after when they was cutting themselves? Was that around that same time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
what was the purpose of the famine, though?
So the one true God. Oh,
yeah, go ahead. What was the purpose of that famine?
That to show them that he was the one true God. That basically that their idols were nothing. I guess showing his true power. If I can remember.
To grab their attention.
All right. So there's a few things. Huh? Who said that?
Me, to make them repent.
Yes.
To get them back to God.
That's right. And also it's twofold. He needed Israel to repent, but he needed Israel to see who was the true God. So this famine, the reason he sent the famine, because it's just like today, though. Everybody doing their own thing. Remember in Judges when it says the people didn't have a king anymore and everyone did as they saw fit, right? So everyone is doing as they see fit, just like today, right? So the famine puts people in a position now of struggle, and it's hard, and we need rain and all this kind of stuff. So watch this. What God does is he sends a famine and he takes care of his most trusted. Where he tell Elijah go by the brook, and then he said after the brook, go by the widow's house, right? So Elijah's taken care of, and everybody else is feeling the famine. So even when Elijah popped back up, what did Ahab say? There go the trouble of Israel. You the one who made all this trouble for Israel. And what did Elijah say? He said, "No, you did. By all your idols, all this false junk y'all got going." And you know what Elijah did right then? He said, "Now go and get me all the prophets and bring them to the top of the mountain. And we're about to see who God is." You see, when you get so far away from God, he needs to do something to show that he is God again. Just like Egypt. Who is God that I should listen to him and let these people go? Y'all see what happens? See, the longer we get away from the actual God, the more people become defiant, like, oh man, that God ain't real. That Bible's stupid. You know, we get even more disrespectful because in Judges, it says they didn't have a king and everyone do as they see fit. That's why if you mention God's name, whether it's Yahweh, Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to say, Most High, whatever you say, people think it's idiotic to bring God into a conversation. Y'all see how this is going? Y'all understanding the ramifications of what this actual famine brought? And guess what? It's about to do it again. The famine is going to do this again. So he said, bring them up to the mountain. And what they do on the top of the mountain, they danced and they sung and they acted a donkey from morning to noon, it said. And Elijah sat over there just as chill and calm and relaxed. He said, scream louder, cut yourself even more. You know, modern day people be like, no, don't cut yourself. Don't do these things. You're he like, cut yourself more, sing louder, do all the kind of Bell don't hear y'all.
Yeah, your God can't hear.
It was for the showdown. The famine was for the showdown. It's a beautiful thing when we understand it. It's another one too. Watch this. The last famine. So we got those two. I'm going to show one more and then we'll move on to plague. Go to 2 Kings 8. I want to read this one because it's about Elisha. Go to 2 Kings 8. We know about Elijah's famine, but it was another famine too in 2 Kings 8. Somebody read verse 1 and 2. Yeah, just read 1 and 2. Who got it? 2 Kings 8, 1 and 2.
Now Elijah has said to the woman whose son he had restored to life, go away with your family and stay for a while wherever you can. because the Lord has decreed a famine in the land that will last 7 years.
All right, stop right there. What that sound like? A 7-year famine. Who knows what that sounds like?
Sounds like tribulation to me.
Well, I don't know any tribulation that's going to last 7 years. That's not in the Bible.
It's that story.
What does that famine sound like? We just talked about it. The first one we talked. Thank you, Daniel. This is the first one we just talked about.
Egypt.
Right, Joseph. So God sent another 7-year famine in this land. Keep reading, bro. But watch this. Keep reading.
My bad, brother. The woman proceeded to do as the man of God said. She and her family went away and stayed in the land of the Philistines 7 years.
All right, stop right there. Yeah.
Oh,
I want to talk about this for 1 second. Yeah, stop right there real quick. So a famine is coming on the land. The Great Tribulation is 1335 days. This man of God told this woman exactly what to do. Who hearing what I'm saying? This man of God told this woman exactly what to do. Do you think the 144,000 gonna be telling people exactly what to do?
Yeah. Or will they listen though?
Yeah. Who just said that?
Stan.
But will they listen? Because we know from reading the word that the majority is not going to listen.
Thanks.
That's how people are going to take the mark. Think about it. You have someone telling you what it is. Would you rather be Elisha or the woman right here?
Elisha.
I'd rather be either one of them. But I got you. I'm with you. But watch this. The only way to become Elisha is what? What do we have to do now? Well, we talked about it early. What's the type of things we need to do now to become like Elisha?
We need to be able to hear God.
Okay.
We need the information from God.
How do we become like Elisha?
Sober-minded.
Go and do.
To be sober-minded.
Sober. Go and do. Do exactly what the Lord is saying. Y'all seeing it? Because when you going and doing what the Lord is saying, he can keep talking to you more. But what if you have too many idols in your life? Yeah, the fog is there. We are fat and sleek and heavy, and we kicking back, and I don't know if that was God. I don't feel like that was God. I don't think that was this, and we just have all these weird little things going on, twirling around in our brain, and we don't even hear God. But Elisha did. He devoted, He wasn't worried about daily devotion because he was always devoted. He wasn't worried about reading the Bible every day because he was fully devoted. You see, we can, I'm telling y'all, man, being fully devoted and your devotions are two different things. The woman probably read her devotions, and when she heard, so devotion is nothing wrong with it, but we can't get it twisted with being devoted to a work that the Lord has given us to do. When you're devoted to a work the Lord has given you to do, there's a certain thing you can hear now. Because guess what? When you take that step, he's going to tell you the next one. Well, verse 3 said, at the end of the 7 years, she came back from the land of the Philistines and went to appeal to king for her house and land. After the 7 years, she came back and said, okay, the 7 years over. She kept track of what?
Time.
Oh,
Time.
who's keeping track? All right, I'm gonna get off that. Let's go to plague. I'm gonna leave it alone. I feel like God can come back any day now. Y'all be hearing people say that Jesus comes soon. He ain't coming until it's time, y'all.
Appointed time.
The appointed time. He not coming to the appointed time. He not coming to after 1,335 days of the tribulation. That's when he coming. But when you don't keep track of time,
Basically saying some things gotta happen, huh?
yeah, man, a lot of things gotta happen. So, hey, cause that's how the enemy gonna deceive us or people. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to plague real quick. Let's go to plague. I want to do a few of them. All right, we know about this one. What about the Egyptian plagues? Why did God send those Egyptian plagues?
Because Pharaoh hardened his heart.
Okay. Then God could have just took care of Pharaoh, right?
Say that again, bro.
I said if it was all about Pharaoh, he could have just took care of Pharaoh.
What?
Huh?
About Pharaoh. He didn't want he wanted to set his people free. He heard all their moans and groans, and Pharaoh wasn't he wasn't doing right. So he went first couple of times to ask, I guess you'll say nicely. Pharaoh was, he wasn't going, and then God purposely started hardening his heart so he can let them free. And he actually let them free. And then he hardened his heart some more so he can go rush after them. Then he wiped them away.
Do you think watch this? That's good, Devontae. Watch this, though. Watch what I'm about to say. Do you think the Egyptians had something to do with those plagues? See, when God do things, he's trying to save as many people as possible. He even, watch this, even when he was close to the end, he tried to save some Egyptians. Y'all remember that? He said, because he even told the Egyptians if they was over there in the land of Goshen, whoever in the land of Goshen where the Israelites was, they could be saved. Because some Egyptians started to believe. Let me show y'all. I think it's in Exodus. Let me make sure. I think it's 5. Let me make sure. Not 5. It was when the hail went to animals.
Is that 8 or 9?
9. Right. 9. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to Pharaoh and say to him, this is what the Lord, the God of Hebrews says, let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go in the field, if you refuse to let them go and continue to hold them back, the hand of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your livestock in the field, on your horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, sheep, and goats. But the Lord will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and that of Egypt, so that no animal belonging to the Israelites will die. It's the hell one. I'm my bad. It's the hell one, I know, but I finished reading this one. So the Lord set a time and said, tomorrow the Lord would do this in the land, and the next day the Lord did it. All the livestock of the Egyptians died, but not one animal belonging to the Israelites died. Pharaoh investigated, found that not one of the animals of the Israelites had died, yet his heart was unyielding, and he would not let the people go. But watch this. It's the hell. That's the one I meant to read. But watch this. In 13, Exodus 9:13. The Lord said to Moses, get up early in the morning. This is after he done did like 7, 8 plagues. Now watch this though. They taking God serious now. So I'm trying to show the bigger purpose. Watch this. Moses, get up early in the morning, confront Pharaoh, say to him, this is what the Lord says. Let my people go so that they may worship me. 14. Or this time I will send the full force of my plagues against you, against your officials and your people, so you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For by now I could have stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with a plague that would have wiped you off the earth. But I have raised you up. Watch this. What's the purpose? For this very purpose, that I may show my power and that my name might be proclaimed where?
All in the earth.
So you think he cared about those Egyptians?
Yes,
Of course he did. You see this? This is the heart of God. I send horrible plagues so that I may be known throughout where? The earth. Now watch this. You set yourself against my people and will not let them go. Therefore, at this time tomorrow, I will send the worst hailstorm that has ever fallen on Egypt. From the day it was founded to now. Watch this. Give an order. What'd he say? Give an order to do what?
To bring your livestock and everything you have in the field to a place of shelter, because the hail will fall on every person and animal that has not been brought in and is still out in the field, and they will die.
Huh? Watch this. So God said, give an order. Watch what it say next in verse 20. Those officials of Pharaoh who what?
Feared.
Feared what? Who they scared of now? Who are the Egyptians scared of now?
The Lord.
The officials of Pharaoh. Forget Pharaoh. They like, man, look. You see God. I told y'all we could see God's heart. This is love. This is real love. Those officials who feared the word of the Lord. What they do? Hurried. Them boys ran and got their slaves and livestock. Y'all see how God gonna save people in the end times, huh? His overwhelming destruction will start to change the hearts. And people we don't even think right now would be saved. Gonna be saved. And people think who we think got it all together and gonna be saved, gonna fall away. He said many are gonna fall away from the faith. These faithless Egyptians ran because they feared the word of the Lord. It's a big difference. They ran because they feared the word of the Lord. But those who ignored the word of the Lord, they did what? They left their slaves and livestock in the field. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward the sky so that the hail will fall all over Egypt, on people and animals and on everything growing in the fields of Egypt. When Moses stretched out his staff towards the sky, the Lord sent thunder and hail and lightning flashed to the ground. Does that sound like Revelation 8? And there came hail, lightning, thundering, and a great... Look, so the land rain hailed on the land of Egypt. Hail fell and lightning flashed back and forth. It was the worst storm in all the land of Egypt since it had become a nation. Throughout Egypt, hail struck everything in the fields, both people and animals. It beat down everything, watch this, growing in the fields and stripped every tree. What did it say next?
The only place it did not hail was in the land of Goshen.
Where
the Israelites were.
Huh? I only want people around me that's right. Think about it. During this time, you should only want... Yo, y'all think I'm playing. You should only want people around you that's right. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron. This time I have sinned. Oh, well, no, I ain't gonna read all that. I ain't gonna get into all that. But did you see his purpose? His name to be proclaimed everywhere, for them Egyptians to get scared enough to say, oh, I believe him. Now, I believe him. Yo, y'all see?
Bro,
huh? Go ahead.
I just was reading a little bit more when you said you wasn't going to get into that. So I'll wait. or I'll note it down and try to remember that.
All right, that's cool. All right. Let me see if I can get one more in there. I'm trying to think of which one I want. All right, Numbers 13. I'll do this one. Numbers 13. There's other ones. There's the one we went over with Korah, Dathan, and Abiram when the Lord opened up the earth, swallowed them up, and then everybody got mad at Moses and them and stuff. And then God said, move out the way, and the plague broke out. And he told Aaron, go get the golden censer to make intercession for these people. And then almost 15,000 people died. That was in Numbers 26, I believe, or 16, one or the other. But this is God all day. This is how he operates. In Numbers 13, I want to show something. Numbers 13. And it's a reason I want to I'll point this out. I done went over it before, but we're going to go over this. The Lord said to Moses, Numbers 13, 1 and 2. The Lord said to Moses, send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I'm giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders. So who are these people? The leaders of the tribes to go spy out the land. So we know what happened. The 10 came back with the faithless report, 2 of them, and we'll read it a little bit down to 26. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert. There they reported them into the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They said to Moses, we went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But watch this. What did he say next? But what?
But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified with and very large.
The people, but they said this to the whole assembly. This is, you got to be careful how you talk in the assembly. They said, these the leaders. We went, it do flow with milk and honey, but the people are powerful. Who they supposed to thought was more powerful than the people?
God.
Who did they think was supposed to be? I hope we hearing it, because when things go down in life, when the tanks are outside, who do we supposed to think is more powerful than anything? God say with man, it is impossible. And they came back as a bunch of men, not men of God, not leaders. They said, but then God say, I'm giving you a land that's flowing with milk and honey. Didn't God tell them that plenty of times? But they went and spied it out. And God said, God's got a bigger purpose for everything he do. The men said, the people are powerful and the cities are fortified and very large. Fortified mean they got walls around them. All this kind of stuff. Fortified mean you can't get up in there. So verse 30, then Caleb, man, if God just had one or two to stand up. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take. We should go up and steal it. We should go up and take it.
Take what's ours.
We should take possession of the land, for we certainly can do it. For we can what? Think about that.
Certainly.
I used this example before. I've said it like this. Imagine like you got to go through a dark tunnel at night with somebody, and the person at the front is deathly afraid. Huh?
Come on now.
And they got a flashlight, and they so afraid, even though they don't see nothing, they be like, oh, I just saw something. And they start running.
Yeah, you gonna pop?
and they take off running. What are the other 6 about to do?
Take off. No questions asked, bro.
But if we see one run, we all run.
Hey, I remember back in the day when we used to go to clubs and different things like that. And like if a fight or something and somebody pull a gun or anything and you just see a crowd running, you don't even ask questions, you just take off running.
Like a whole bunch of roaches when the lights come on.
Yo, these leaders in there with the flashlight ain't even seen nothing, but they just hear that water dripping.
What's that?
They hear the water dripping. Yo, it's scary yourself. Look, even if you scared, keep going. I'd rather something, if I'm leading, I'd rather something just take me out than me just tuck tail and run and ain't even seen nothing. I'd rather it just take me out. I told y'all, man, scary movies and all that kind of stuff bad for you. You've been there thinking like the devil can appear whenever he want to appear. No, we know that from the Bible. God said he allows things to happen. All right, Caleb said we should go up and take possession of the land, for we certainly can do it. Watch this in 31. Here we go with that word again. But see, they should have shut up. They should have just shut up. See, but the men who had gone up with him said, we can't. What did they just do? So one person say we can, and if 10 is over there saying we can't, who you think the assembly gonna most likely listen to?
Majority.
Planting seeds of doubt.
We can't attack those people. They are
strong.
they strong. They stronger. They stronger than us. Wow. Look at that. Why you think God is about to send a plague on them? Why you think God finna handle them? What did they just do? They sowed a seed. Watch this. We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. And they spread among the Israelites of what?
A bad report
about
the land that explored.
They spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said the land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. All right, I'm going to read 14 when you get a chance. I'm going to just point out a few things. So after they got them rebelling and stuff, we're going to go to 14. Look what it says right here.
The night all members of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. There's a voice screaming.
So the assembly, they talking about stoning Moses and them and stuff, but go down here to 26 through 35 is what I'm going to read. And then I'm going to read 36 through 30. I'm going to show y'all something. So read 1 through 25 when you get a chance. Great read. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, how long will this, what did God call them?
Wicked. So
God called people who were sowing leaders who are fearful and throwing Numbers 14:26. God is calling the leaders who are evil by this bad report, planting the seed and all this kind of stuff, right? The leaders made the community what in God's eyes?
Wicked.
Y'all got that part? The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is Numbers 14, 26, 27 says, how long will this wicked community grumble against me? I have heard the complaints of these grumbling Israelites. Grumbling. How long will you complain? God don't like. Who likes a complainer and a grumbler? Who complains and grumbles?
Nobody.
I know a lot of people that do. Who complains and grumbles? I know a lot of people that do. Who complains and grumbles? I know a lot of people that do. Get the light off of you. If you get the light off you, you wouldn't be known as a complainer or a grumbler. So tell them, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. They were saying we should die out here. You came out here to kill us, Moses. Numbers 14. We in 26. We reading 20. We in 29 now. But look what God say. As surely as I live, declares, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. The power of life. Huh?
Tongue is in the tongue.
The power of life. We're in Numbers 14, 26. I'll read those verses for you again. The Lord said to Moses, how long will this wicked community grumble against me? I have heard the complaints of these grumbling Israelites. So tell them, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, I will do to you the very thing I heard you say. In this wilderness, your bodies will fall. Every one of you 20 years old or more who was counted in the census and who has grumbled against me. I told y'all what's in your book. Ain't that we talking about the book of life? What's in your book? Grumbling, complaining, worry, doubt, fear. I don't know. We can't do that. We can't do this. We can't do that. Like we can't. The we can'ts. Ain't that what he was mad at? We can't. They stronger. How we gonna do that? We can't do that. We can't do that. They said we can't do that. We can't do that. Who ain't they? It's restrictions, permits, this, that. We can't do nothing. Huh? We can't do that. How many people have let things die inside of them because a lot of people say you can't? I know you have. We can't. You can't do that. Now, what's in your mind? The obstacle is in your mind, not the way. Huh? The obstacle and not the way. So if I can plant the obstacle in your mind, you won't even look for the way. Who can hear the depth of what I just said? If I can plant an obstacle in your mind, you won't even look for the way. They didn't even look for the way. Watch this. Let me ask a question. Did the community go and look at the land?
No.
They was trusting what the leader told him about the land. Y'all got it? All right. Where I'm at.
You're in Numbers 14.
Oh, yeah. Numbers 14, 30.
29.
All right. 29, 30. 30. Not one of you will enter the land I swore with uplifted hand to make your home except Caleb and Joshua. As for your children that you said will be taken as plunder, I will bring them in to enjoy the land you have. What they do?
Rejected it.
I was telling you in secret the things that I had for you and I wanted you to do. Through your rejection and your doubt and your fears and your concerns and your worries, I can't give it to you. So guess what? I give it to your children. So I'm going to wait 20 more years for your children to get older. I hope y'all hearing it. Is these my words or God's words?
God's words.
So guess what? He probably did to you 20, 30 years ago. Start hiding his face. and all you got is religion. You are evil in your heart, and all you care about is religion and your hymns, and not him. He said it. You rejected it. I'm gonna give it to them. So he says, but as for your bodies but as for you, your bodies will fall in the wilderness. 33. Your children will be shepherds here for 40 years, suffering for what?
Your unfaithfulness.
Your children will be shepherds here in the wilderness. Y'all could have went in the land today. Y'all can go in the land right now.
With our unfaithfulness.
Until the last of your bodies lies in the wilderness. For 40 years, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explore the land. Look how he punished them. You will suffer for your sins and know what it's like to have who?
Me against you.
You know why? When I hide my face and I move to the side like this, I'm gonna let you see what your end will be. You're gonna need 1,000 therapy sessions. You're gonna need 100 counselors throughout your but you'll never get healing. You always in counseling and therapy, but never get healing. Because of doubt, worry, concern, fear, the I can't mentality, all of that is why I'm trying to let y'all know how I operate. But watch this. I'm going to keep reading. I, the Lord, have spoken, and I will surely do these things to this whole wicked community, which has banded together against me. Has the world banded together against God? Or what is Babylon? Is that the world banding together against God? So they're going to know what it feels like to have him against them. Against them. Y'all get it. So watch this. They will meet their end in the wilderness. Here they will die. Now watch this. For 36 and 37. Watch what God do. So the men Moses had sent to explore the land who had returned and made a whole community grumble against him by spreading a bad report about it. These men who were responsible for spreading the bad report about the land were what? What happened?
They were struck down and died of a plague before the Lord.
Oh, man. Y'all see that? Be careful. Watch what happens after this, after they die. Can I get water? It says 39 says, when Moses reported this to all the Israelites, they mourned bitterly. Early the next morning, they set out for the highest point in the hill country, saying, what they say? What they say after what they say next?
Now we are ready to go up to the land the Lord promised. Surely we have sinned.
So after God pronounced what he's going to do, they say, now we ready to go up to the land. Now we ready to go into the promised land. It's too late, buddy. Watch this. Moses said, why are you disobeying the Lord's command? This will not succeed. Do not go up, because the Lord is not with you. You will be defeated by your enemies. And it happened. I ain't gonna keep reading. It happened. You can read that later. Huh? It's time. Does timing matter with God?
Yes.
Yeah.
When God come and he said, okay, it's time for you to start following me, obeying me, doing timing matters. But you know what? We have not read these stories. We haven't studied showing ourselves approved. So you know what's so easy for us to do? Put God off. To say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to. I don't see when you do that, you give yourself an excuse and an out not to do anything that God say. Rather than saying, all right, I'm just going and God gonna have to teach me. You see the two different mindsets? I'm just gonna go and God just got to teach me as I'm going. You give yourself an out when you say, I don't know. I'm not sure. And guess what? Next year, I don't know. I'm not sure. And guess what? 3-4 years later, I don't know. I'm not sure. We good? Thanks, baby. Yeah. All right. I ain't gonna show no more play. We're gonna go to Wild Beast. Last one, and we're gonna be done. Let's go to Numbers 21. Numbers 21. Check this out. When the Canaanite king, my bad. No, we're gonna start in 4. So the Israelites traveled from Mount Hor all the way to along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew what?
Impatient.
On the way.
It's real hot in our land right now. It's very hot everywhere in the land right now, right?
Facts.
We are having heat indexes, and look, y'all be careful. Don't even go out. Don't even walk outside for 5 minutes. Imagine if God say, "Nah, man, go out there for 3 hours and sit." Now, listen to this is what I'm saying. So they going around Edom, but the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, why have you, here they go, complaining. Why have you brought us up out of Egypt, man? Yo, we need to hear this, what they say. Listen to the heart of what they saying. That's just like rescuing a prostitute. Why? Why did you? Do you know that my life was good? See, that's mental. That's mental. Or it's just like anybody who's been brainwashed. It's just like rescuing somebody that's been brainwashed. It's all mental. So watch this, what I'm finna say. Even if you've been brainwashed, do you have the opportunity to be reprogrammed by God?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So watch this. There's not a demon stopping these people. Huh? There's not a demon stopping these people from obeying God.
Yeah.
Y'all hear what I just said?
Yeah.
So doing the Lord's will is a choice. Because, you know, I don't care who you are. If you're impatient, God can give you patience. If you're foolish, God can give you wisdom, right? It's a choice. He said, if anybody lacks wisdom, watch this. Let's use any word. If anybody lacks love, if anybody lacks joy, peace, self-control, if anybody lacks this, how many people have asked God for them things? Lord, give me your love so I can show it to people. Lord, give me your peace so that I'm not moved by everything. I know I say those kind of things. Lord, give me self-control so that I don't lose my mind. Huh? He said, if you ask with,
It'll be given unto.
but watch this. If you ask believing though, that you will receive it. See, you got to ask and you can't doubt. You can't. If you ask him with no doubt in your heart, he said, I give you love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness. I'll give you those things. So this situation right here, they complained and never asked. Y'all hear that? They were so busy complaining that they didn't even know what to ask for no more. Only thing they asked was, why are you coming out? Why are you sending us out here to die, bruh?
That heat got hot.
The heat got hot. It says they spoke against God and against Moses and said, why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food. Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. Is wild beasts one of the things that God about to send? Anybody here scared of snakes?
Yeah.
Can you imagine a whole bunch of snakes around you right now to bite you?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm trying to do that.
Imagine it.
Man.
You better not be a complainer or a grumbler.
Right.
Jesus learned obedience from what he suffered. They were suffering and they didn't learn nothing. They only wanted to go back to Egypt and say, I don't care about slave labor. At least I can have some good food, a nice bed, put a fan in my window at night. The Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people and many Israelites died. Watch this. Somebody read verse 7.
The people came to Moses and said, we sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us. So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, make a snake and put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live.
Remember, you good. Oh. Remember, I said, saying I'm sorry in the moment don't really mean much if you're gonna have to say I'm sorry in another few weeks. That's all this was. The watch this. The punishment made them say I'm sorry. Anybody ever saw a child that you gotta make say I'm sorry? Anybody got a child you gotta make say I'm sorry? Y'all understand what I'm saying right now? Because the child do it again. If you're not around, they're not gonna say I'm sorry.
And they're gonna continue to do it too.
That's right. I'm gonna start shutting it down. We got the picture. God is about to judge the living with these types of plagues, these types of wild beasts, these types of famines, these types of sword. You want to be in Goshen? You want to be in Goshen? Or you want to be in the middle of the hailstorm? Y'all understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
God is good, man. I'm going to shut it down. I really hope y'all got a lot from tonight. We'll be going over Seal 5. What's today? Tuesday? Sabbath? We'll be going over Seal 5 this Sabbath. We have been, if you have missed this series, the Book of Life, please go back. This is part 6. Go back and watch them. Go back and watch them. Follow along. Catch all of it. It's on YouTube, Gems the Artist. Any questions you have, you can always email me or DM or whatever the case may be. I don't mind answering questions and things like that. So let's get it. With that being said, I got to shut down YouTube and Facebook, and then I'll talk to you guys in a minute.
All right, YouTube, Facebook, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I really hope y'all got a lot out of it tonight, because I got a lot out of talking about it. So till next time, peace, grace, and love. Spend a lot of time with God, little time with self. Y'all know what time it is. We'll be here on Sabbath. Enjoy the rest of y'all night. Yeah.